Hey everybody, it's BJ
And Patrick.
and we're back talking all things real estate, and we got some stuff going on.
Well, CMHC is reporting mortgage arrears are increasing. So I'm sure you've seen the headlines where, oh, the mortgage arrears are skyrocketing. Well, CMHC, even though it's a bit of a delayed response on how data is collected and stats are reported.
Yeah.
So, they might be a little bit behind the times historically as they report their information. But the most recent residential mortgage industry report revealed that at least 1,050,000 mortgage consumers face renewal at higher rates in 2025.
Okay.
So they're still pushing this mortgage cliff. We're still waiting for it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it hasn't been difficult for some people,
Yeah.
but it hasn't been like a crushing blow to
Right.
real estate prices or mortgage holders across Canada.
Well, and I think the other part of that is that doesn't take into account that potentially there are other interest rate drops coming from the Bank of Canada. There's one more announcement left this year.
Yeah, we're going on the supersized meal plan interest rate drops now for whatever coming months. Like if it's a half a point, if it's a full point, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's sort of been like a consecutive action now at every mortgage announcement for Bank of Canada. So, maybe this is a big nothing burger at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We'll see. Because
Yeah.
so far, this real estate crash has been like quite a bit of a letdown. I'm not
Yeah.
saying there hasn't been an adjustment in prices.
Sure.
But, we haven't completely, we haven't like Amber heard the bed or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, we haven't driven off the cliff, basically.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, so this CMHC report is analyzing the mortgage market. So we're going to go through this. It just came out November 14th, 2024. Despite the resilience of many homeowners, mortgage arrears are expected to continue rising in the short term, with Toronto and Vancouver facing the highest risks. Data indicates the financial pressures may persist for some time, impacting these markets. We'll talk a little bit more about the markets as we go. The head of the Canadian banking regulator recently said he was pleasantly surprised by how well Canadians manage mortgage payments increases. This was echoed by other people in the financial sector who also noted the resilience of Canadian homeowners. This resilience will be needed over the next 24 months as they continue to navigate the impact of higher interest rates and economic uncertainty when they renew their mortgages. Certainly, of course, right?
Sure.
Now, looking back in time, I think about our 2008 crash.
Yeah.
That we really didn't see the peak of mortgage arrears, and depending on what market if you were in Toronto, if you're in Victoria, if you're in Vancouver or Calgary or wherever, right?
Yeah.
Mortgage arrears peaked at sort of not at the exact same time, but around that 2012 in some areas, 2013 in some areas, we saw the peak. This peak took like 4 or 5 years after, this real estate adjustment. We didn't go through a crash like the Americans did.
Yeah.
We sort of had a soft landing, but we definitely had a extreme slowdown in sales. I remember living through that time. Man, like there was 5,000 listings and there was like less than 400 sales per month.
That was 2013.
So between 2009 and that, right?
Yeah.
That we had that kind of slow absorption.
Yeah.
People think the market's slow right now. They have no idea how slow it can still get.
Yeah. That was
Right.
when I started
That's
my
it. So you knew the numbers exactly. Then.
Yeah, that was what I stepped into right there.
Oh yeah. If you want to cut
2013.
your teeth when it's hard and difficult,
That was my real estate
That's the
introduction.
time.
Yeah.
I started in 2004 and it was like a freight train. Like it was building up. There was multiple offers. Just it wasn't as crazy as 2007.
Yeah.
So I cut my teeth when the train was moving really fast.
Yeah.
And then I had to learn how to like figure it out when
right.
it's slow, right?
I learned when the train was moving backwards.
Yeah.
And then we went from that to just hypersonic. And then we thought that was crazy, and then we got COVID crazy.
So funny you mentioned that, right? So we saw peak mortgage arrears, right, and that would start to go down right before the market started taking off again.
Yeah.
So give it another year later.
Yeah.
So I think CMHC is still optimistic about how quickly this may or may not happen. I think it's going to be slower than what they are expecting. But you know what? They get paid a lot more money to figure this out than me, so I could be wrong. But this could be like a told you so video in the future.
Yeah.
I don't want to read all of the stuff, but I want to find the fun things that I think are relevant in this CMHC report. So also, we're looking at data obtained from Equifax assess the best predicators of mortgage arrears in 9 major Canadian markets. So they cover Halifax, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. Ooh, they didn't cover Victoria.
Not Victoria. We're not a major market.
We used to be the second most expensive in Canada for a little while, but not anymore. We lost our spot. Thank you, Vancouver and Toronto.
Yeah.
All right. 2 main findings emerged from this analysis. The health of the resale market plays a critical role in predicting mortgage arrears. This is interesting because I never thought of it this way. When sales activity slows, signaling a cooling market, homeowners struggling with mortgage payments have fewer options to sell and avoid falling into arrears, right? You got to sell before hey, I can't make the payments, we better sell our house. The sales to new listings ratio, so this would be how quickly new listings are absorbed in that month, is an important indicator of mortgage arrears. That seems like a bit of a stretch to me, but let's keep going. We normally see a decline in sales to new listings 6 to 12 months prior to an increase in arrears. Now, we just talked about, and I know Victoria's data and stats from like sort of in the past 20 years as I review and go back and look at things. That wasn't the case back in like 2000 after 2008. We had a sales to listing ratio, or listing to sales ratio, and we didn't see that for years afterwards. Not 6 to 12 months delay on increasing, or at least peaking on arrears for mortgages. We also had a huge unemployment. We're going to probably touch on that as well.
Yeah.
And I think COVID is a better example to distinguish. It's not everybody, even if they have like increased credit card delinquencies, auto loan delinquencies, that it won't necessarily affect mortgages. But that's my theory. Number 2, arrears in non-mortgage credit products such as credit cards and auto loans are an early predicator of mortgage arrears. Initially, this is a negative correlation between changes in non-mortgage and mortgage arrears when observed with an 18-month lag. That'll be interesting to watch. Yeah. This suggests that when financial pressure begins, homeowners often prioritize keeping up with their mortgage payments at the expense of other debts. That's how Canadians do it.
Yeah.
We've always prioritized making sure we make our payments.
Yeah.
For a house.
And that specific point, I know we looked at that probably a year ago. I remember
talking about this.
Yeah, we talked about this for sure. Yeah.
Of course, their conclusion is pretty lame. I mean, it's a bit of a Captain Obvious statement. They're talking about 3 options can happen. Either the housing market may go through a sharp increase in mortgage arrears, or it may go through, or it may not go through a sharp, mortgage arrears, or it's a mixed group, deserves further monitoring.
Yeah, further study.
This is kind of lame, anyways. So jumping into the markets, Calgary, Saskatoon, and Halifax are in the first group. Mortgage arrears rates in these cities are expected to remain close to their low post-COVID levels. We expect, and I've got a chart that'll show all of these, and I'll put those up. We expect relative stability in their mortgage arrear rates over the next few months. Okay, what would be the similarities between Calgary, Saskatoon, and Halifax? Smaller populations?
Influx of population right now.
Alberta is enjoying
Yeah.
and
And this is Halifax.
and Halifax, right? People searching for more affordable markets.
Yeah. For both of those, Calgary and Halifax. It's interesting. I was just talking to a friend of mine and hadn't talked to him in a while. And so, we were chatting. I don't remember how we connected, but anyway, we were chatting and I said, "Hey, are you still in White Rock?" And he said, "No, they're retired." He said, "No, we moved to Calgary."
Oh, very good.
And, he said, "We're just enjoying Calgary." He said, "It's closer to everything."
Yeah. Do they got family over there?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easier
probably.
for family.
Okay,
So it's closer to everything, as in it's more central as opposed to way out on the coast like White Rock, right?
Yeah.
And then of course the cost of living. He mentioned that too. That their place, they got a great place. They bought a great place that's their retirement home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. It's happening, right? So I'll cover the other smaller, less ones before we get to the exciting one. Winnipeg also appears to be stable, but the recent trend shows a sharp decline in average credit scores and increase in non-mortgage credit arrears. So they're saying there's going to be upward pressure on mortgage delinquencies there in the future. And then I'll jump to Montreal, Ottawa, and Edmonton.
Okay.
They're showing sort of mixed results there, so
Yeah.
I want to just keep watching that.
Yeah.
Now the biggest ones, this makes the most amount of sense to me.
Toronto and Vancouver.
Toronto and Vancouver.
Yeah.
Well, what else do they have in common? They have the biggest population as well,
population.
right?
Yeah.
Did they have? We're going to talk about this in a different video about construction. They also have the most amount of construction happening in those cities. Condos, right? That's where the big volume is
Yeah,
happening.
especially Toronto, right? They have this horrendous issue with all these condos and these new condos that are hitting the market.
Yeah, and so you know how Mackenzie Avenue, the CRD here in Victoria. I'm going to go totally on a tangent here, and they're proposing sort
my
of the
goodness.
Mackenzie Road diet.
Yes.
So we're going to go down to 4 lanes to 2 lanes, but we're
Right.
going to have like dedicated bus lanes and bike lanes
Yeah.
and whatever else it is, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well,
I
we're
signed-
going to keep building.
I signed a petition.
Yeah. We're going to keep building more houses. What do you think is going to happen to traffic? So traffic in Toronto is like everybody's complaining, bitching about like it takes forever to get anywhere. Like,
Well, let me put that in perspective. So I was in Toronto on the weekend.
yeah.
And so I came back on Sunday. So took an Uber from my hotel, which was downtown at the I don't know, it's not called the Sky Dome anymore, whatever it is.
It's not the Sky Dome?
It's called something else now, Rogers something or other, whatever it is. I don't know.
Toronto Coliseum, okay?
Anyway, whatever it is. Anyway, so I took an Uber from there to the airport Sunday morning, and just chatting with the guy, and it was like I don't know, 29 minutes or something like that to get to the airport. So it's a good time, like under half an hour.
To Terminal 1 there
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Pearson. Yep.
yeah. So he was talking about what it's like during the week, and I said, okay, well, what is it like during the week? Because this is under 20 or under half an
29
hour,
minutes, yeah.
whatever it was. And he said, oh no, it's at least an hour during the week for this drive.
It doubles it up.
Yeah,
Just like that.
just from traffic, he said.
I like their not their metro, whatever their train station
Yeah.
is. I like their system there is really good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how it is.
Yeah.
Toronto sucks.
And his other line was, and everybody's mad. he said it takes twice as long to get anywhere, and everybody's mad getting there, wherever there is.
I'm glad I'm not there. All right, Toronto and Vancouver are a completely different situation, and arrears rates are expected to increase in these cities. Our modeling shows Toronto may reach mortgage arrear rates unseen since 2012. When you actually look at the numbers of how many mortgages there, I'm going to be guessing off the top of my head. I haven't looked at the Canadian Banking Association website in a little while. So, and to pick off exactly what happened in 2012, we were probably around 3.5 million mortgages at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's closer to 4 million. Right now we're at 5.5 million mortgages in total. And our percentage, our not percentage, I wasn't looking at the percentage, I was looking at the actual amount. We have another, let's say, 1.5 million mortgages or more, and we still don't have as many mortgage arrears as 2012. So,
Yeah.
and really, they're talking about a number of somewhere around 15,500 mortgage arrears.
Right.
So those are people that are 3 months or more behind on their mortgage payments.
Right.
And I think we're hovering right now at the end of 2024, just a little less than 10,000.
Okay.
So, you know what? And I'm not saying it can't be worse than that.
Sure.
Because how many people bought pre-construction condos? Yes, the sales are going down. I hear all about it. Prices have, some people are letting some of the condos go for less money. Yes, it is happening. Might be a great opportunity to watch or jump into that market.
Yeah.
But there are some expensive condos there as well.
Yeah. Well, and the trade-off is in BC, if you're buying a condo, you're going to live in it. If your plan was to buy that condo and use it as an investment to rent it out,
Yeah.
not anymore.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because property rights don't mean as much as we thought they did. And you can, we know this. If you don't know this, in British Columbia, you can no longer have short-term rentals.
You never could in a condo.
Well, I'm going to go back to the Janyan, which was a purpose-built condo for the purpose of short-term rentals with those micro condos with no parking.
Right. So that was about 30 buildings in Victoria where they specifically built it for that. So the rest of BC and maybe some exceptions in like Kelowna or somewhere, they weren't built with that purpose.
Right. But I'm just saying, these in Vancouver,
But you could
they're
still
gonna be-
long-term rental this.
Yeah, or you could have maybe done not quite short-term rental, but sort of. But now with all the changes to the rental legislation, and the potential that you're going to be given 2 months notice and 2 months free rent.
The rules are definitely weighed against the landlord here in BC for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So I'm just saying that to say those condos, if there were people that were speculating on, the evil speculators on buying condos and using them for investments in downtown Vancouver, for example.
Those megalomaniacs planning out their retirement to
Right.
pad it so they're not just on a weak Canadian
Right.
pension.
Yeah, right? So,
Yeah. Oh, those people. I can't believe it.
So,
All right. While arrear rates are not expected to rise as much in Vancouver, right? Because we have 40% of the properties don't have mortgages on them. And there's 38%. The last number I read was in Toronto don't have mortgages on them either. All right. They could reach levels like 2015. The high number of listings relative to sales in Toronto and Vancouver is likely limiting the exit strategies for current homeowners seeking to sell their unit, diminishing market fluidity. Welcome to real estate.
yeah.
That's a possibility, depending on how the wind blows, how the interest rate is, how the economy is, all of those things, buyer sentiment.
Yeah.
This combined with increasing non-mortgage arrears creates conditions likely to result in increasing mortgage arrears in the future. This could potentially be avoided if mortgage rates decrease, like you said, more than expected, or if the market conditions as measured by seller to new listings ratio revert into seller's market territory, which we're not terribly far away from, but it can change. Where there are significantly more buyers than sellers. It really depends on the market,
Yeah.
which one we're talking about, and a lot of reports when they're reporting like this conflate they're being very general about their statements.
Yeah.
Where the detached home market could be very different from the condo market.
Yes.
And the high end condo market and the middle end condo market and the low end condo market can be completely different demands
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
supply, right?
Yeah.
So, without going into the rest of it, really, they're sort of warning us, but what the results might actually be for next spring, I'm personally thinking it's going to be a busy spring. We're starting to see a lot
Yeah.
more activity in our market in Victoria.
Yeah.
Now, that may not happen in every market, obviously. That would be like a bit of a generality.
But the general projection, and we talk about Canada being such a massive geographical entity that you can't generalize for all the real estate markets because of that. But I think the one thing that I'm seeing, generally speaking, and we're hearing, is that it's going to pick up. And we're seeing it already here in our market, where things are starting to get multiple offers again, and things are starting to move quickly on the market and things like that. So
I had a cash offer about 3 weeks ago. No conditions, no multiple offers.
okay,
Just tried to come in with the best price, which we still negotiated.
Yeah.
And we still came out with a fair price that, what I don't know what their expectation was. And like it was a great sale,
yeah,
but they came in with no conditions.
yeah,
The house is 10 years old or something like that.
yeah.
So they were pretty confident that way.
Okay.
So they sold their place. They were ready to buy. They've seen it a couple times. They spent a lot of time in the house. They were happy to go ahead and buy it. So,
Yeah. So
I really would not expect that
yeah, but I think
until the market starts heating up.
I think
right?
I think the expectation is, especially if there's another interest rate drop coming before the year is done.
Oh yeah, supersize me. Would
right.
you like fries with that?
Yeah, right. So
Get me the biggest interest rate. Yeah, you know what? I think that gives people the confidence that if they buy a home, that it's not going to be worth less money tomorrow
Yeah.
or next week or
Yeah.
after Christmas or in the new year.
Sure.
So I would think they would be confident that they're not going to be losing money in the next 6 months or a year. Of course, if you don't sell, you don't lose money anyways.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. We've gone a little bit longer than normal today, but hopefully you found that to be information that's relevant, valuable for you. If you haven't, please take a sec, give us a subscribe and a like, and we'll see you next time.
thanks for joining us.